I don't care how maybe good or bad or unlikable you might be, dude, it's got to suck having thousands of people just be against you all the time. All right, big show today. We're coming off the United States Open Championship. We got Kiz is coming straight out of the booth. He's still in New York. He's fresh. Everything's fresh. Just a wild day of golf, a wild week of golf in all kinds of ways, some bizarre stuff, some great stuff, and ultimately a very, very worthy champion. So we're going to get into all of it, and it's all brought to you by Chevy and the Equinox, which is your do-it-all SUV. I've got myself a Chevy Equinox here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho this week. I'm excited about it. It's a fantastic vehicle, all kinds of cargo space. I'm on the road for like 15 days, so you wouldn't believe the cargo space came until I got anything with me, because you could just tuck it back in there in the Equinox. So lovely show today, gentlemen, and a lovely company with the Chevy bow tie.
Hell of a haul across that across that great state of Washington and Idaho for Riggsy and his Chevrolet. Shout out to Chevrolet for being with the boys for so many years, and the Equinox. We do love riding in that Equinox when we're on the road. That big touchscreen display with all of our maps and songs and all the data that we need on there. Absolutely love it. Great United States Open. Shinnecock showed out, and we get into all of it with Kevin Kisner.
Chevy, baby. There's plenty of room for golf bags and all your gear. The Equinox has a touchscreen that puts all your music, maps, and tech front and center. The Chevy Equinox, it is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. This is the 126th United States Open Championship knee-jerk reaction show. One of the more interesting days of golf that I can ever remember watching for a lot of unusual reasons. Just Wyndham Clark wins in an absolute nail-biter down the stretch. We have the entire U.S. Open to get to, from the setup on day one to penalties for, basically being, not a gentleman. We've got fans openly rooting against an American Ryder Cupper and President's Cupper in America at the United States Open. So we have so much to get to. Shinnecock Hills, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love watching golf on it, championship golf there. It feels as big as you could possibly feel in the world of golf. The venue, the red, white, and blue, USGA, US Open flags blowing in the wind, the red flags on the greens. A lot of talk about the greens, about the course, about all of it. Really a controversial person in the world of golf over the last several years. I guess more polarizing than controversial, I would say. Ends up winning the whole thing. A beautiful moment with his dad. So it was a goddamn roller coaster of golf, of emotions, of the championship level. I want to comb through all of it. We've got Kevin Kisner, who just took, a helicopter to New York to a hotel, coming straight from the headset to the podcast. So we're going to get into coverage and all of it. But what a week. New York fans are kind of the big talking point right now. I'm watching Scottie Scheffler in his press conference basically had to tell the reporters, like, I'm not going to keep answering questions about Wyndham Clark's fans. And it turned into kind of the main thing. People are tweeting at Frankie that New York's like ruining the United States Open. And is it his fault? So it's just, boy, it was a wild day, an awesome day overall, with drama, with everybody kind of weighing in, and an incredibly gutsy performance. So again, I don't want to give my take on any of it before we all just, hello, everyone. Let's take a breath a little bit and let's get into the U.S. Open, because I thought it was fucking fantastic.
It is funny. Every time there is a big golf tournament, big golf event on Long Island, which there's been a couple big ones within the last year or so, Frankie Borelli is thrust forward as the spokesperson and is forced to speak for everything that any fan on that property, on that island says. So Frankie Borelli, if you want to step forward and give your piece, we all want to hear it.
It sucks. I mean, I don't want to talk for any of these people, but who's to say that they're all Long Islanders? Number one, I think a lot of the Long Islanders didn't even go out there because we know the traffic was a disaster. Yeah, I mean, we can all get into it. It was that was unfortunate. It was weird. It was just strange. It's unfortunate, but it's also not. I have a lot of takes on it. Like, it's, people are there, they want to see drama, and unfortunately, you're going to have a vocal minority of people that take it too far and try and will a golf tournament, a golf championship, to become closer than it currently is. They spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time, they spend a lot of effort going to a venue that is not easy to get to. They get there, they have a couple drinks, they're ready to go. It's a sports event. They want to see something tight, and you have a guy that has a 6-stroke lead. And once you start to see the guy with the 6-stroke lead start to falter just a little bit, it starts to kind of rev up. And that's the hardest thing to do in golf, is play with a lead. And yeah, it's not common to have someone or have an entire fan base or entire crowd kind of rooting against you. But I'm not, I guess my final stance is like, I'm not surprised that people were rooting for the golf to get closer. I think anyone with a rational thinking brain would say that all of those people that are at that event want to see something a little bit more drama filled. And there wasn't much drama for a ton of hours of this US Open coverage, or US Open, whatever. I guess it was the coverage, right? Because like we're watching it and we're waiting for something big to happen. It just doesn't. I'm sure Kiz was feeling the same way. It's not easy when like there's a guy running away with it. I mean, the guys in the booth are feeling the same thing that the people in the stands are feeling. It's like, can we have something happen? We're going to be on for 5 hours. Give me something. Same thing with the guy that's standing on 10. Go in the bunker. Something. I don't know. Anything. Like let's get this thing tight. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I think it was more indicative of the tournament and how it was shaking out more than Wyndham Clark. Like, I know there is all this talk about the Oakmont thing, and to be honest, he can't stop talking about the Oakmont thing. It seems like every time he's put in front of a microphone, he's like, man, Oakmont, that was really a big mistake, left a sour taste in my mouth. I destroyed 2 lockers and it followed me around. That's not the person that I am. But I think if it were, if it were anybody up there, and if there was anybody up there who had that type of lead, I think they would have gotten a similar treatment. Maybe not Scottie Scheffler, maybe not Rory McIlroy, but someone of Wyndham Clark's caliber and public persona, whoever was up there and had that big of a lead, I think they would have gotten a very similar treatment. I don't think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the Oakmont thing rates enough where that's where people are like, I hate this guy because he did this to the Oakmont locker room. I don't think that is why the crowd overall was cheering for balls when they would roll off of greens. Maybe it was a certain percentage, but I think it's what Frankie's saying, where they just wanted a more competitive golf tournament. And Scottie Scheffler, who people love, happened to be going for the Grand Slam and happened to be in that final group as well. So it was a bit of a perfect storm in that way.
Yeah, I would say the cheering when the balls were rolling into bad places was a level I was not prepared for, and I thought was shocking. And I thought that was maybe a combination of all of it that took it to another level, because I do think it all started with the very general and common sentiment of we want a good golf tournament down the stretch, which, by the way, we ended up getting. And if you go look, I was like even looking back at my tweets, and it like looks like I would be one of the guys in the crowd yelling at Wyndham Clark and rooting for his balls out loud to go into bunkers, when in reality it was the result that it turned out is what I was rooting for the whole time. And I found myself halfway through rooting harder for Wyndham Clark to win than I ever thought I would, because of what he was dealing with the fans. And I thought it was kind of bullshit and shocking. And I do think it all originally stems from, we took the trains out here, 3-hour train out here. We're going to pay $20 for a beer. There's a 6-shot lead. I want this motherfucker to be a 1-shot lead. And I want there to be huge putts that I remember for the rest of my life. I'm here on Father's Day, maybe with my dad. I want to tell people about this tournament forever. And right now there's no tournament. And like, I think that's where it started from. And then it really did compound of like the locker stuff. A lot of people were yelling about the grapes, about the lockers, about all of it. And it turned into just this really bizarre scene that I thought made Wyndham Clark seem like more of a sympathetic figure than I ever would have guessed. I found myself feeling bad for him when he continued to be asked in press conferences about the fans, and he has to kind of answer the Oakmont thing every time he's asked about the fans because it keeps getting brought up, and he has a great answer. I think one of the most overblown things in history is the locker thing. I mean, but we got guys throwing clubs, getting penalties, John Rahm's kicking his driver down the fairway. Wyndham Clark has had a history of like, he's got some anger issues. He had the PGA Championship thing last year where he threw the driver. I think it was either a tee marker or one of the tee bags. But I think it was Graham McDowell came out right afterwards and was like, buddy, the amount of lockers I've seen ripped to shreds, of course, it's a bad thing to do. It's very disrespectful. He apologized. But for it to linger as long as it has, like he is this horrific guy because of that pretty mundane, when you compare it to what people have done, incident, I think is ridiculous. And I think it is a lot deeper. He's had the comments, he had the comment during the part 3 course about like they're asking him, what's this, does it make you want to have a family, having seen all the kids out here? And he was like, it kind of makes me really support birth control. And he had the comment after Brooks Koepka came back where he was like, feels like he's getting his cake and eating it too, when everybody was all gung-ho about Brooks Koepka. So he's had a lot of comments over the years as well. But I thought it turned him into a sympathetic figure, man. I found myself being like, okay, we now got the golf tournament that I wanted. I do love Sam Burns. If he would have made one of those 2 putts, it would have been, even cooler. But we got the tournament that we wanted, and then I wanted Wyndham Clark going through a harder day than anybody else was going through to fucking persevere. I thought the moment afterwards then like brought me to tears, man, when his dad was there and he didn't know his dad was going to be there. I was like getting emotional seeing like, I don't know. I don't care how maybe good or bad or unlikable you might be. Dude, it's got to suck having thousands of people just be against you all the time. And like having an entire year of like people on the internet, people in golf crowds. Like we've all been at golf tournaments, man. When you walk inside the ropes, you hear a ton of shit no matter who you are. And you hear a lot of the same shit for every golfer. Some guys it's good, some guys it's bad. So the amount of stuff Wyndham's heard, I'm sure, over the last year, like that's got to just suck a lot to have everybody rooting against you and like being like, fuck me, man. Like everybody hates me, I guess. And then go out and win the US Open going through that. I just was like rooting hard for him. And yeah, I thought the end was awesome. I've never seen somebody hug that many people afterwards. The amount of people he's in dap up territory with is unbelievable, really. So yeah, it was a wild day. And I just didn't expect that level of like almost vitriol towards him when his balls were rolling off the green. I was rooting for that because I wanted it to be a tight golf tournament. I had a couple, top tens and whatnot I was rooting for that. But like for that to be, I've never heard it come out like that in a neutral golf tournament. I just thought it was pretty bizarre. I think Frankie used that word earlier. I thought it was just kind of fucking bizarre, to be honest with you.
Kevin Kisner, live from New York City, straight from the booth.
Right here at the LaGuardia Airport. Those rants went a little bit all over the place, so I'm going to try to stay on point of where we started with that. But first of all, I couldn't figure out the Wyndham thing. First of all, can the locker gate be done now that we've won the second U.S. Open? Like, let's move on. Y'all asked him 100 times this week. He answered it great every time this week. Everybody's sorry. We did whatever we could. Move on. Next, right? Like, done with locker questions. I think we should be done with locker questions.
Agreed.
Second of all, who didn't want it to be tight? Like, everybody I talked to, I was out there for 3 hours before we went on air. They're like, what do you think is going to happen today? I'm like, dude, I don't care what happens. I just want it to be somewhat interesting down the stretch because it's very difficult to call a runaway, especially in a major with all the lag time. We do a lot of walking up, no commercials the last hour and a half, although everybody tells me how many commercials we have. So that was great drama at the end. Gil Capps is one of our statisticians, probably been in the booth for 30 years. He told me that was the most he's ever heard in all his major championship history of fans talking shit to one player. That's not a quote. That's just what he meant. He's like, I've never heard so many comments towards one player in any major championship in all of my history. So they were definitely on him. I couldn't really tell, though. Were they more for Scottie Scheffler in the career Grand Slam, 30 years old birthday, that whole deal? Or were they just anti-Wyndham Clark over him destroying the locker at Oakmont and everybody hates him now? It's hard for me to figure out. I think it was 50-50, and then they all New York bandwagon fan jumped on it.
Yeah, I mean, I am picturing everyone there doing what I was doing in my basement with my family there. Every time he hit a shot that wasn't in the right spot at Shinnecock with those greens, you could tell very, very clearly with some of those great camera angles that were really showing the runoffs. Like, you started to get a feel for what was not going to hold. And everyone's like, oh, and then you're hitting each other being like, we've got a tournament. Like, you're hooting and hollering to the people upstairs. Like, it's only two.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to cut you off, but there was personal attacks towards them, which were weird.
I guess my question is, what do we think the average golf fan's opinion of Wyndham Clark is? I might be underrating how people feel in terms of hatred, because when I think about Wyndham Clark, I clearly think about the locker room thing. I think about the PGA Championship where he's destroying tee markers and he's kind of losing his cool. he had, I mean, feels like ages ago where he was a focus of Full Swing, where he had a segment talking about, you know, his sports psychologist and all that stuff. I guess to me, when I think about Wyndham Clark, I don't think like, I hate this guy. Like, it's not like, I feel like the what we saw the other day was like a Patrick Reed type of response, when to me, Wyndham Clark isn't that guy to the average golf fan, but I could be wrong.
I think I'm with you that I think I underestimated that, like the degree to which a lot of golf fans don't like him. And I think that in a lot of tournaments, it's very clear there are fan favorites. And usually those fan favorites, because they're the best players, Rory and Scottie, are in the mix. So you very clearly get you get positive feedback from the fans on everyone, but extra exuberant positive feedback for the big stars. And there's a difference. And some of those guys in those situations will come away being like, it was very clear everybody really wanted Rory to win today, but the fans were great in supporting me. This was like the first time I can really remember, outside of being a clear post Ryder Cup, or, you know, Brian Harman in England, or Matty Fitz against Cam Young at the Players this year, where even then Matty Fitz laughed afterwards and was like, this was a joke compared to Bethpage. I had fun with the fans. I still think even the Matty Fitz stuff, Europe versus America, was done in like tongue-in-cheek a little bit against Matty Fitz. And he was like kind of riffing with the crowd a little. I'm like, I get it. You guys are USA chanting. You want Cam Young. I'm here to win as an Englishman. It's kind of funny. This was like, people were fucking mean. Like, people were getting kicked out of the tournament for heckling the guy, yelling really mean shit. And like, you know, and people were bringing up personal stuff. People were doing like, you know, a lot of the report, like some of the reports I'm seeing and people I'm talking to off the old record that had like inside the rope stuff are like, you know, people are doing their research and like yelling personal shit at him to try to rattle his cage while he's trying to win the US Open. And I just like, I can't really recall that happening outside of a team event. And that's just like again, all that kind of just turned me to be like, dude, if I just didn't want that to be a factor in the history of golf at Shinnecock, where it's like, because, you know, if he loses, you could easily chalk it up to be like, well, he had to deal with this shit nobody else had to deal with. So I was like pumped that almost is going to squash it more so than it would have if he would not have won. It would have even been a bigger story, because that's fucking crazy town. Like, this is golf. And I don't want to get all like, oh, golf fans are soft in any other sport. This ain't any other sport, brother. This is golf. This is Shinnecock Hills. There's a certain decorum. It's just a different sport than football and whatever. And to have that sort of one-sidedness towards somebody is just, I can't even recall a time. I mean, the only time I've really heard about something similar was like at Oakmont when Jack came on the scene against Arnie, and like Arnie's Army was like calling Jack Nicklaus fat and trying to ruin his day back in like 1962. It's like that's like a famous thing. So yeah, I just it was bizarre, I guess, to say it again. And I think I underestimated, you know, maybe it's the hive mentality. You know, I think Kiz, you were kind of making that point of like everyone starts to feed off each other, of like bandwagoning. I guess whatever's getting the most laughs on this hole is when people yell at Wyndham Clark. So I'm going to yell at Wyndham Clark too. And then that magnifies across the golf course. So whatever it was it kind of crossed a line that I never thought I would take a stand on, because I'm usually for like, but I just thought it crossed a line, to be honest with you.
You think it was just bad luck that it happened to Wyndham Clark because there was things to pick on? Or do you think like the fans would have turned on a Sam Stevens with a 6 or 7 stroke lead as well? Or, you know what I'm saying? I think you would have gotten a ton of fuck you. We want a match. We want Scottie. You know what I mean? I just think.
No, I think it was because of Wyndham.
You really do? You think it was all just because of Wyndham?
I do too.
Anyone else? Wow, I think it's a perfect storm, dude. I think anyone in that position at that golf course, with how elevated that Scottie story was and what people wanted to see, I think you were going to get a lot of people rooting against whoever was in that lead.
I'm just trying to recall like the 2014 US Open at Pinehurst when Martin Keimer won and he was playing with Ricky Fowler. It's like, I don't recall people like,
oh, for sure, a lot of people
Martin
took
Keimer
it over the line. I know,
and
that's
like,
for sure.
You know, so I'm just trying to think. And again, it's always recency bias, so who knows? But it was just wild.
It's also there was like 12 people there, so like you could hear everything. I'm not even kidding. Like, I mean, today was better for sure. And they were all
Man,
following
yesterday
the
was
leaders.
tough.
Whoa,
Yesterday
the
was
end of
nuts. I heard people like coughing in the crowd. It was like, what the fuck
those
is going on?
videos of Wyndham at the end of the third round standing on 18. Those videos are bizarre. And I guess what do people think? It's it's New York. They got to get back. They got to catch
The
the
train.
train.
I think the
They
last
gotta- I
train
mean-
was at 6. That's what people were saying, and like the final group didn't finish till 7:30 or something like
No,
that.
8:15.
8:15. So I think
Somebody
that's what
told me
people
the
were kind of chalking up.
grandstand closed on 17 at 7:00, which I don't know that for. Don't go quote me on it, but that's weird if you're going to tee the last group off at 3:45.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, when we talked about this early in the show, I think I was a proponent of maybe it was a perfect storm, but you put a guy like Stevens up there, I think that's a story people might root for. I just think there's enough to pick at Wyndham Clark that people just decided we're going to start picking and we're going to start yelling and we're going to start maybe doing something that we normally wouldn't do. And I really think it's person to person, it's case by case, depending on who would be in that spot, leading that many strokes ahead in the tournament. But Wyndham's got enough where you can pick, and I think that's probably what happened.
It's like, do you think is the New York fans thing a real thing? Like, if this was the exact same golf tournament at Torrey Pines, do we think it's a similar thing?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if it's a New York fan thing, but I've also never heard of 6 people getting kicked out following the last group of a major championship.
I mean, guys, this is just golf getting bigger. I mean, we all just keep sticking and holding on to what golf used to be, and it's just more people have been exposed to this game, and it's people that don't hold the same values of the game of golf as they always have. It's a fact. It's just golf has gotten way more circles of life. People that are like bro culture and football players and locker room guys that always thought golf was nerdy bullshit that the non-athletes used to play. Everyone's playing it now, and they're playing at a younger age. And you're going to get all these people that just like don't give a shit about the old school ways of life in the game of golf. And I'm not saying that that's right. I want to preserve as much of that as I possibly can. I mean, I'm rocking the Shinnecock hoodie right now for those who are listening. Like, I really love that golf course. I've got it printed all around my house. It's the pinnacle of Long Island golf. It's an amazing venue. It's as good as it gets in terms of the golf course. And for people to go there and turn it into like somewhat of a mockery in the fan base section, it sucks. That absolutely sucks. But it's just a reality of the situation. This is where golf is going.
I don't really have an answer to that, but I hear you. I mean, I hear you, and I can
That's
like
just my
follow
opinion
that.
too. I mean, you guys can obviously have a different one, but
No, I don't really have an anti or for that, but I hear you and I see your point, and I will pay more attention to that, I think.
And we've had 2 of the biggest events since golf's exploded in New York, where like the fans are crazy, and we get into. I mean, the Knicks won, and they were freaking. You see the video of the girl getting her panties ripped off on the freaking.
Yeah, it's
light
great.
post?
I love that video.
It's like unbelievable. I mean, it's chaos. It's like it's Gotham City. So like you pair all of that energy together, and where golf is at right now, and how exposed it is to so many people. And you pair it with like the Hamptons and like fuck you money people that are just going out there and they have no respect for anything else. It's just a storm. It's Long Island and New York's just getting shafted in terms of like golf has reached a level of where it's not prim and proper hand claps anymore at the Travelers. It's like this is a U.S. Open on Long Island. And we're crushing Sun Cruisers and we're screaming at people. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of where the game's gone.
I almost need a test case at another major or another big golf event that's not on Long Island. We got to get away from Long Island, have something like this play out again, and see if people are booing as balls roll off the green. Because you're getting like a small sample sized a little bit here, where it's like the biggest golf events have happened, the most controversial ones, and it's like, well, it's those fucking New York assholes again. So right now, all we can say is like, it seems like it's a New York thing, but I don't know if that's true or not. There's also the thing that people at like, if you are a New Yorker and you go to a tournament like this, almost living up to what people say about you on podcasts and in tweets and on whatever, where it's like, oh, when people come to New York, they got to expect to get yelled at and fucking booed because we're New York crowds. That's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know which one it is. All I know is that it definitely happened today. So that's just a fact.
There's one I thought about too that I had forgotten, which is like Sergio Garcia at Bethpage in 2002, I believe, was like when he was doing the regrip thing. I mean, guys, people were yelling at him like, hit the fucking ball, and like screaming at him and shit. And I remember that was like a big storyline. But again, that's European guy in, American territory. So we don't have to talk about it any further. It's
Hey, Harmon
unique.
got butchered pretty good. Weren't they calling him the butcher over there?
Big time. And they were like, weren't they counting like how many times he waggled before he hit and stuff too out loud? And so, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not unprecedented. And, Frankie, it's like, it's a good point. Like if we know for a fact that new audiences coming into golf is clearly affecting how golf is run on a day-to-day basis at golf courses. We know that for a fact. We know alcohol sales are way up on golf courses. We know that just from being around. So if it's true at golf courses where people are playing the game, why would it not be true at golf events where the fans are going to watch the game? So
I got one more thing to add before we change subjects. I think that behavior has dramatically increased since gambling is so present and so readily available and can be gambled on from anywhere at most of these events. I don't think 8 years ago or 9 years ago when I was doing that, nobody could bet that I was going to miss the green or bet that I was going to miss the fairway or, lose to Scottie Scheffler in a head-to-head or whatever it was. So they think they can affect their bets. I think they're also being a little more chirpy, which is what we do at football games. So I don't care. It's not like I'm offended by it. I just think it's also affecting the golf watching audience.
The perfect storm, man. It all adds to it. I'm telling you right now, it's all adding to it. These are all factual statements, by the way. Like golf is getting bigger, it's getting younger. People do have way more rooting interest than they ever did. Before all this expanded, one of my biggest negatives about golf was that we all just rooted for whoever won. And there was never any rooting interest about a specific player. Sure, we all got around Tiger and we all got around Rory, but like on any given week, if it was Sam Burns holding up the trophy or if it was Bridgman holding up the trophy, we all just clapped. And I always wanted a little bit more of that blood. And now we're getting it. But unfortunately, you get some of these Long Island Railroad lunatics that are out there. They're doing things in the bathroom. They're coming out there to Shinnecock and they're losing their minds. And we got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of bad people. Like, I'm not advocating for bad people. I wasn't advocating for bad people at the Ryder Cup. But, you want to expand this thing. You're going to get some. We saw some bros out there, man. They're loud and they don't give a shit about anything else but having fun. And that's like what you're going to get.
On the positive side of all this, shout out to everybody who bought merch.
Sold out. Crowds. I mean, there were 13 people there on Friday and Saturday. But we sold out all of our merchandise. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
People.
Yeah. No, phenomenal. Big thanks to everybody. I saw a bunch of people wearing it. I was out there Thursday was the last day I was on site, and I was like just seeing a ton of people wearing the crew neck, wearing the hoodie with the red hood. I just saw a bunch of it in the wild. I love to our merchandise team's doing a great job when a lot of the people I saw wearing it were walking by with not a clue on planet Earth who I was. They just thought it was really cool shit that they bought in the merchandise. Yep. They just like, this is a great item. I'm going to buy that. And I love seeing that. So it goes a long, long way. We've talked about it before, but that's what pays to keep the old lights on. So we very much appreciate that.
Speaking of going around there, Frankie's like a king going around there, man. I spent the Friday afternoon with Frankie out there. He's just getting yelled at by everybody in the crowds.
Friday was a really cool day. I mean, Kiz gave me a behind-the-scenes look at how NBC puts the whole thing on. I mean, going up in the booth, going up in the production truck. It was really eye-opening and amazing to see how big and how intense that whole situation is. It is the U.S. Open. They're on for so many hours in the week, and they had all the trucks, Sunday Night Football and the baseball trucks and NBA, everything. It was unbelievable. And seeing like Tarico and the way that they do this like fire drill swap. Tarico's on in the seat, and then you got Dan Hicks swapping with him, and Kiz is getting ready in the quiet on the other side of the cameras. It really is just so outrageous how that all happens. So that was a really cool day. And to kind of go around the golf course with Kiz and go to the putting green and Scottie Scheffler coming over to Kiz and being like, you only talking to me because the cameras are on. And like, it was a really, really awesome day to be attached to Kevin Kisner's hip. And I gained a lot of respect for what he does because I think on our video that's gonna be coming out of the behind the scenes, I think I called him like I think I had a couple pops in me, but I think I may have called him a joke. I was like, Kevin Kisner is like a clown to me. Like he's one of my buddies. Like, and the fact that he's going up there in that fucking booth right now and he's gonna talk to like 7 million people in 10 seconds drives me insane. My heart was pounding. Did you or did you not get more nervous because we were in there with a camera facing you and we were listening to every word you were saying? I thought you got nervous, man. I was like, we got to get out of here. I'm like, it's just us and the broadcast booth. We got to get out of here.
So you can't hear all this stuff going on in my ear, so I don't have time to get nervous or look at you or do any of that. And that first 15 minutes, as you saw when we come on, is like a fire drill, man. It is just till we get to the first commercial every time, you just got stuff going haywire. We're trying to catch everybody up. Get to live golf, tell the story, scene sets, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's interesting. But I had a great time. Frankie got his own cart, and we're following him out to go to the golf course. And, man, I didn't think we were ever going to make it. My runner's driving him in front of me, and every 2 yards we got to stop so he can high-five somebody on Long Island.
The behind-the-scenes social clip was fantastic. The Mike Tirico, like the cameos, was really good.
I'll tell you one person who hated that video. That guy Tron Carter hates that video. I mean, you want to talk about a hate watch? He's going to despise that behind the scenes video. And full disclosure on the podcast, we've invited him to come onto the show. So as of 9:30 p.m., or I guess is that when Riggs sent the text, he has gotten a full invite to this podcast to talk to Kevin Kisner about the coverage, because obviously there's this discourse right now about coverage. It's a coverage wars right now, broadcasting wars, and Tron's on one side and it looks like we're on the other side. And I don't know what's about to happen, but if he ever joins the show, he has an open lane to talking to the broadcaster he's been tweeting about all weekend. So, I mean, you would hope that he would come on and sort of say his piece, and we'll see over the next hour or so if he pops in. It'll be very exciting if he does.
In the U.S., there is a break-in every 26 seconds. Very scary. That means somewhere right now, an intruder is getting closer. The problem is most security systems only alert you after a break-in has already started, and that is too late. That's why I chose Simply Safe to secure my home. I've got the app. I've got outdoor cameras. It's awesome. I've got this smart lock on the front, so you can change the code anytime if people are staying there, if I've got friends and family swinging by, if I've got a local going by to move packages inside or just check on the house. You can do it all from the app. It's great. I know Frankie uses Simply Safe as well. Set it up. Very easy. It's just a delightful and necessary service.
They also have that outdoor camera series 2, and it has those advanced AI alerts on there. So Simply Safe is really stepping up the game. It's the biggest thing is that their focus is to stop crime before it starts. And you have these agents that are monitoring and identifying all of these things on your property, and they'll help deter them before you can even get to it or even understand what's going on. For me, I get these alerts on my phone. The second anyone comes within a perimeter of my property, it's amazing. It's instantaneous. All of my cameras are wireless. It's super easy. I didn't need to hire an electrician to set all this stuff up and run wires around my house. It's all wireless. The batteries last forever. I've got a million of these things around the house, so when one dies, I still have another view. Pop that off, pop another battery in. It's an amazing system. Make sure you check it out. You got to get safe, and why not get Simply Safe?
I want you to experience the same peace of mind that I do, which is why I've partnered with Simply Safe to offer an exclusive discount to our listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplysafe.com/foreplay. Once again, 50% off. That is half off for all of you mathematicians out there. You don't have to do any math. You don't have to do any installation that's going to be tricky. It's all very simple with Simply Safe, and you're going to get half off at simplysafe.com/foreplay. There's no safe like Simply Safe. At the end of the day, every guy wants to feel confident. A big part of feeling confident is your hair. That's where Sport Clips haircuts comes in. You need to look clean. You need to look fresh. You need to feel confident. Sport Clips stylists just get it. They're going to get you there, whether it's a tight fade, neckline cleaned up, beard trimmed. That stuff changes your entire look more than people realize. It changes your entire feel. We got World Cup games. We got Major League Baseball during the day. We just obviously had Major Championship Golf. You want to go to Sport Clips, you can use the app. I know if Trent loves that. I love that. Use the app to go and get in line, as they say, so you don't have to sit in the waiting room. It's just it's the spot you should be going if you're getting your hair cut.
Yeah, since the last podcast, I hit a Sport Clips. I got a haircut, feeling good, feeling confident. Pay no attention to that horn that's growing out of my forehead here. That's a pimple. That's not Sport Clips doing. That's just
Had
me.
one on my nose
That's
forever.
me.
Sucks.
But the haircut, that's what they cover. You go on the app, you get in line. They say be here at a certain time. You walk in, you get a chair, you sit down. I always get the MVP experience. They wash your hair. They hit you with a shoulder massage gun. You watch the sports like Riggs was talking about. And it's a great, great experience. They've really elevated the haircut barber experience, and I can't recommend it enough. Definitely download the app, Sport Clips. We love those guys.
Also, how about these soccer players with all those tight fades? You watch these big games right now, the way they're sliding into the corner after a big kick, a big goal, and they got those tight fades, nice gel. They never look like the hair's out of place. It's unbelievable. And I got big breaking news in the haircut world. I brought Frankie boy to get his first haircut. Sport Clips. Imagine being able to remember or even have acknowledgement of doing something for the first time. This kid got his hair cut for the first time. Those hairs grew out of his head his entire life. And finally, they took clippers to that thing, and it was an amazing experience. He did so good. And we kept all the little hairs, and we got him in a little cup. And I don't know what we're gonna do with that. It's probably a little weird, but we've got him. But haircuts, man, like we all need to do them. We all got to look good. He looks fresh to death. He's got his little curls in the back still, trimmed up the sides. Sport Clips, man, it's for everybody.
Fun fact, you won't do anything with those hairs, and you will never pick up any more hair from any other children you have.
True. It's true. Very bizarre thing, but we had to do it.
Make sure you show up with style with Sport Clips. Again, show up with style. It is with Sport Clips. Check in online today. I really want to hammer some of the golf because we've done 30 minutes on the fans and the whole deal. I want to get into some of Wyndham Clark's actual performance. This is his second U.S. Open win, of course. He had some statistics in here that were pretty outrageous. I don't know what the number finished at exactly. It's got to be close to this. But at one point, you guys were talking about on the coverage, Kiz, on the front nine, he was leading in scrambling percentage for the week in the U.S. Open. He was 76%. He was converting when scrambling. The field average was 45% at that point. So that much of an advantage is outrageous. He made 5 putts over 20 feet throughout the week of golf. The average is around 2 per player at a normal PGA Tour event. So he had over 2.5x that, and this is at Shinnecock with the greens that are on a whole nother level. So nobody's making 24, 25, 30, 40-foot putts. He was second in driving distance through the week with an average of 342 yards. His fairway finder, if you want to call it that it feels like he hit that one on 10, a little chippy like driver that he was calling it. That thing goes farther than any golf ball I've ever seen go ever. I don't even know how you I don't know how you can hit it farther than that when he's hitting his little chippy one. His putting throughout the week was overall excellent. I believe he finished at 19th in strokes gained putting, so he was inside the top 20. But I would really try to highlight a stat of like clutch par putt, strokes gained with clutch par putting. I think you guys said too at one point, Kiz, that yesterday alone, maybe he had made 55 feet of just par putts, which for a PGA Tour professional, I don't even know if you guys have 55 feet total of par putts on a normal round of golf. It's like that was him to make that many feet of putts. It was just over and over and over again. And after all of that, he still just wins barely by 1 stroke. But it was a phenomenal performance. And then really just kind of gritty U.S. Open type golf on the weekend. He got that window that a lot of people were harping on Thursday, where the wind lied down. It reminded me a lot of our round, to be honest with you, when we played out there 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, where the last 4 holes of our round, the wind really kind of disappeared. And it was just this beautiful, pleasant evening at Shinnecock Hills. That's what happened on Thursday. And you had at one point, like 5 of the 6 people in like the last 2 groups on Thursday were all leading the golf tournament because there was just all of a sudden basically no wind. It was perfect out, and all the pins were in the middle of the greens, and the greens were soft, and the greens were rolling at like a 10 because they had to basically play defense against 40-mile-an-hour projected winds. But he took advantage. There were a lot of other people that were playing during that hour as well, and they didn't just all win the U.S. Open. So incredible golf performance by Wyndham. Obviously, he hits we played scramble against him. We defeated him, by the way. He didn't have his best stuff that day, but he hits the ball a mile. He has that like shocking, effortless speed. He doesn't look like a big guy. He's not a big guy. He's, he's one of those, like when Mitch Marner, the hockey player, came into the office, nobody in our office believed he was a professional athlete. Wyndham Clark is not an impressive athlete, but like he just looks like a normal guy walking down the street for the most part. And the fact that he could just move the ball 342 on average at Shinnecock for the week is such a skill set. But what really, really blew me away, Kiz, was like his ability to scramble and continue to make par putts from the 5 to 15 foot range the entire weekend was off the charts, I thought.
Yeah, the putting was incredible, especially how many times he was, kind of chasing his tail behind the 8-ball, trying to make these saves when everyone else is missing them. Saw so many guys miss so many short putts this week. The greens are, get bumpy throughout the day as Poana grows unevenly. Lots of people walking on them, sun on them. You guys know how much I love Poana, so watching those balls bounce around gave me the heebie-jeebies all weekend. But, man, somehow Wyndham, no matter what, he didn't let the crazy ball-striking shots affect him. He figured out a way to get it close to the hole or close enough for him to make it. The amount of putts he was making, I was pretty shocked my first on camera. I was going through his stats before we went on because I knew Dan was going to ask about him. And, he was only third in putting. And all the putts I saw going in, I thought for sure he was going to be leading the field in putting going into the last round. But he was third and second from tee to green. So the 64 must have really catapulted him up the list in strokes gained tee to green. But, man, to answer those calls over and over again, it's not like at Shinnecock you get a bunch of 8-footers that are straight in and you can smash them. These putts are breaking, and he's making them in the middle with everything going on, people yelling at him in the background, hoping he misses and is cheering for his ball going off the green. And there's certain type of people that can just, build on that, people going against him. And I felt like Wyndham was building on that. Now, today early on when the lead was dropping quickly and it got to 1 early, and, I felt like he was starting to feel the weight of the people yelling at him. But that was also the same about the time we heard, they were kicking people out for talking shit to him. So I don't know if we got most of the bad actors out in the first 9 holes and he felt more comfortable. But, that shot he hit on 10, I thought the second shot at 10 really changed his mojo because he drove it all the way down there, and it's a difficult shot. You guys all know we've played there. 60-yard shot of that front pin. If he lands it a foot short of the hole, it's probably coming back to his feet. He sacks it up, floats this lob wedge 15 feet by the hole and backs it up to 4 feet. And I just thought from then out, he kind of felt like, all right, man, I'm back. He had a great shot on 11. He didn't make the putt. Hit it pretty close on 12 with a wedge. And it just seemed to be like, all right, he's back in control of it. Even though it only ended up being 1, I felt like about that time that he had the control.
Yeah, I thought so too. He had played the back 9 significantly better throughout the whole week than he had played the front 9. So when he made that turn and then just sent that one down there, but we had guys. I was watching somebody in the earlier coverage had 168 into 10. They were laying back on top of that hill and trying to hit something with no spin.
Sam Burns had like 180.
Mm-hmm. And Wyndham had he was chipping. He had like a 60-yard chip. And I just was like, that takes balls because that's like a blind tee shot too from that sort of like when you're hitting driver down over that hill where he hit it. And I know we talk about how wide the fairways are, but with how sloped that fairway is, like that is, you got to kind of step up and hit one if he's going to hit driver into the fairway there. And if you don't, you can't keep it on the green. It's impossible. I found that out and made double there, but it was just such a ballsy couple shots right there. 100% agree. And then 11 is such a hard shot. Yeah. And he from there looked a lot more in control. And the birdie on 16 really kind of won him the championship. That was when, again, not because of any vitriol, but just rooting for a good golf tournament. That was when a lot of people's ears and eyes, we kind of perked up. He had been getting good breaks in the fescue, it felt like. better breaks throughout. Reminded me a lot of Bryson and Pinehurst in 2024 when you're like, when is one of these balls that he's hitting in bad spots going to be in a really bad spot? He had the drop on 17 yesterday on Saturday where you're like, God, even when he hits it in the shit, he's not in the shit. That one felt on 16 like, okay, Bones walked up and, Bones, every time they kept cutting to Bones, who's so good at what he does, by the way, they would cut to Bones and he'd be like, guys, he has a really good lie here. He got another great break. Or like on the second hole, he'd be like, that ball, the last revolution of that ball, a kick from the fescue into the primary rough. He might be able to get this up and down. That one, dude, you guys cut to Bones, and he goes, he has drawn a horrible line.
Yeah, I think he called it horrendous. He said, I think he may have to go sideways.
And I got so excited like everybody else did because you're like, okay, we're going to get Sam Burns. Like, looked like he had the fire in his eyes. He just made birdie on 16. He hit that awesome 9-iron on 17. You're like, here we go. His caddy, Big Wave Dave, was like, you could either hit that shot or I want you to hit it 100 yards over here. And he was like 315 out. So I'm like, oh, he's going to have 215 in. And he smoked something over the cross bunkers from there. He had like 165, 170 carry, and then makes birdie. He made that like 24-foot putt that looked like it was short and just dripped right in the heart. That was so fucking gutsy from where he was to make that birdie. And then he did have the 3-putt on 17, but still felt like he was in control. He hit the shots he needed to hit and got it done. But yeah, those kind of moments, man, in a U.S. Open, that's just the difference. It's so much different than the Masters where it's like, is someone going to do the crazy back 9 30 or 31 and make eagle on 13, make eagle on 15? Are they going to use the slope on 16 and make another birdie? The U.S. Open is so different where it's like everyone's going to miss greens. Everyone's missing greens. And it's like, who's going to be able to get up and down? Who's going to have those gutsy moments when it looks like they're going to make a bogey maybe and he makes a birdie? And he was the one that did it. So I just thought like the whole weekend, he sort of had that scrappiness about him that was sort of like magnified by the fan stuff. And it just like, that's my memory from it, is them cutting to Wyndham Clark with that like white ping putter and having 6 feet and him fucking making it. That's like my memory of the whole weekend.
I've got a funny story about the birdie on 16 from the broadcast. So when Smiley or Bones is out there, we don't get to talk like off the air, right? So we just text each other questions or whatever because they may not be talking. And if I want to know something, I can't be like, hey, hold on, Dan, I need to ask Bones something. So I'm texting Smiley on 16. And I was like, holy cow, dude, what a birdie. And then he's like, yeah, it was incredible. His lie was horrendous. Just like Bones said, I went and looked at it too. And then I was like, yeah, but what about the putt? Because that putt was impossible. You guys have all been there. You got to putt it up over that mountain, and then it just dribbles down, and it's probably going to miss every time and go to 4 feet. And Smiley wrote back the text, and I pull it up, and it's in invisible ink. And all I could think about was you idiots and me and doing that the question thing. And I was like, look at this little young kid wrote me an invisible ink text. Like, I'm not going to know how to do that, but I do know how to do that. And I clicked it. And what does it say? I would have made it.
Smiley.
Yeah, it's so good.
Smiley. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sam Burns. We got to talk about Sam Burns, great friend of the program. He welcomed us to his golf club. He welcomed us to his farm. We shot, well, I don't know if we could call it, we shot shotgun. We were near shotguns that were being shot. We were technically shooting them, but awesome guy. He comes back a year after Oakmont with the whole puddle incident where he didn't get the ruling that he wanted. He was a 54-hole leader and shot like 80 and obviously came up short. A lot of disappointment in the U.S. Open last year. Comes back and just a gutsy performance. He's really the one that made this a golf tournament for us. He saved Championship Sunday for the United States Open, so I'll forever be grateful for that. Just showed a lot of stones out there. He doesn't have a great track record of closing, and he played great. He got off to a phenomenal start. He had some really good shots down the stretch. The putt on 18, I know he thought he made it. We all thought he made it. He's going to have nightmares about that putt forever. But just a really phenomenal performance. He's got some serious top 10s now in majors that he's starting to stack up a little bit more. He was the only player in the final 9 pairings to post an under par score today, which kind of blew me away because they were talking about how the wind wasn't going to be as bad and maybe people could go low and post a 65 or something. So Sam Burns just showed a lot of balls out there, I thought. And, he probably wants that putt back on 17. Nobody was making that putt, by the way, Kiz. On 17, like Wyndham Clark, he 3-putted. Scottie missed that same putt. Sam Burns missed that same putt. Everybody was missing that putt on 17, it felt like.
Yeah, Keith Mitchell missed it too. And they were missing on both sides of the hole. Normally when you see guys missing a putt of, 10 feet, they're all just misreading it and all miss it on the same side. I think Wyndham missed it left. Sam missed it right. Keith left it short. I think it was just something back there in that part of the green was tricking the hell out of them, and nobody really knew what to do. But if you're talking about Sam Burns, who in this room didn't think Sam Burns' putt was going in when it was 4 feet out of the hole on 18? I thought it was going right in the middle.
Right in the heart.
Right in the middle. Oh, he got a perfect read from Cashmere, and it just looked like he absolutely poured that thing in the heart. I can't believe that broke. It looked like it broke up the hill or wherever. It just hung out to the right. But God, what an awesome performance. He's one of the best putters in the world too. So I thought he was making that for sure. And he still almost got himself in a playoff. But Sam Burns, man, he's easy to root for. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's very easy to root for. Just a good old boy that is friend of everybody's, good player. I told a story on the air today that he's the only person ever in golf history that I've been a part of on all these team events that I've said, like, when he gets going, that I think I might have to tell to chill out a little bit. Normally you got to get golfers to get their blood pressure up. Sam Burns is like, I'm going to birdie every hole. I'm going to kill everybody. Watch this shit, Kiz. Here we go. And I'm like, all right, dude, you might hit like a bad shot because you're too fired up. We might need to chill out one octave here before you play this last hole of the Ryder Cup.
He also got very emotional. He started crying in the press conference, talking about how he wanted to win it for his dad and how he just saw it playing out in a way where it's like, if you win this on Father's Day, it's going to mean a whole lot to him and it's going to be a great memory. And yeah, he got more choked up than I think people thought he was going to get. But yeah, I will say I was rooting for Sam Burns big time. I'm a huge fan of his. He's the best.
It was hard not to root for him. I watched that presser when he was asked about his dad and what his dad said to him. And he's like, my dad just said that he's really, really proud of me. And all I could think about was how much it would have meant if I would have won this on Father's Day, and that he had to stop talking because he was so choked up, which you don't see out of him. So he had the huge fist bump when he made the putt on 16, and then he just hit that. Nobody was hitting it in there like that on 17. Like, that is such a hard little spot to hit it to. And he took this 9-iron and just swung out of his shoes on it. And I thought he was making that putt, but awesome performance by Sam Burns. He's somebody I wrote in my notes of to remember that he's playing well in majors going into the next majors when it comes to the DraftKings Sportsbook. Sam Burns is on my list of one of those guys who's doing a little bit of knocking. I think he's going to come through that door pretty soon. So awesome performance by him. Cashmere, Keith Mitchell, one of the great performances. He shot 4 even par 70s in a row. Nobody's ever done that before. He went very viral for one of the funniest golf memes of all time. He answered it perfectly in the press conference when he was asked about if he knew, and he's like, yeah, that thing couldn't possibly sum up exactly what was happening more accurately. He's like, that's just it. Everybody being like, this is me every time I play golf. His whole style and vibe. He's got a great cult following out there. I followed his entire front nine. I actually shot him a text after the round today, and I just said, I want you to know I followed your entire front nine on Thursday, and then I left at the turn. You're welcome for leaving, because he shot 41 on the first 9 holes of his golf tournament, followed it up with a 29. He went 41-29 for an all-time spread of 2 different 9 holes to shoot 70 in the first round, and then just played great throughout the entire weekend. But 41-29 is absolutely all time. I thought this guy was as going home as anybody's ever been going home. I was watching him. People were rude. A bunch of people were like, I'm a visor guy. He's got that whole crowd out there. But love Cashmere Keith Mitchell. He had a very funny spread and performance throughout the week. So good week for Keith Mitchell.
Did you see his visor color yesterday?
Yeah.
I kept wanting to call him Cabernet Keith instead of Cashmere Keith on the air, but I wasn't sure. It just, every time I looked at it, looked like a bottle of wine on his top of his head.
I mean, with the low, the no buttons, he's just got that disheveled look. He's always looks like a breeze just pulled him away from something. He's just a hell of a vibes guy.
He was playing with the big rig yesterday. I'm pretty sure Harry Higgs, and they both just have a number of buttons unbuttoned on their shirts, and a lot of things going on there for some more portly fellas.
Keith does always look like he just got pulled away from a wine tasting. Keith always looks like that, where he's just like, what? And he's like, what am I doing out here? Yeah, I'm a big Keith Mitchell guy. He's always fun to watch.
Yeah, me too. He's the greatest. Joaquin Niemann, incredibly interesting week for Joaquin Niemann. The big talk on Thursday was the course setup, and then you wake up Friday, and the big talk on Friday was that Joaquin Niemann has been assessed a 2-stroke penalty and went from making a 9 on the 6th hole to making an 11 because of poor conduct. I pulled up Gabby Herzog, did a great job of reporting what happened. She said she talked to a volunteer who witnessed Niemann's club throw that cost him a 2-shot penalty. It went like this. After hitting 2 drives out of bounds, Niemann tried to get free relief from fire ants, shout out to Bryson, to no avail. From where his 3rd drive ended up in the fescue, he got visibly angry and kicked the white flag that another volunteer used to mark his ball, continued to kick around the sand. He proceeded to then chuck his iron from the fescue area approximately 50 to 70 yards to the very edge of the course on the right, which is that's a toss. Almost did not walk back for the club until a police officer delivered the club to him. The volunteer said, pretty impressive throw. That's a quote. He was assessed a 2-stroke penalty for the outburst, which I've never heard from before. I believe that was the first one ever assessed in a major championship for poor conduct. And then the motherfucker finished tied for 7th, boys and girls. He finished tied for 7th in the tournament. So just an incredible week for Joaquin Niemann.
And not that this is about me or Closest to the Pin. This is about the U.S. Open, and it's about Shinnecock. It's about Joaquin Niemann. But I think that's going to fuck me on Closest to the Pin. I think I said 9 was the highest score that was going to get made. And then I think Ryan Richardson, that son of a bitch on the 1s and 2s, said 12. So I think he's going to – I went from getting 2 points to 0 points to Ryan Richardson getting 1 point. Again, it's not about me. But as soon as I saw that he got assessed that, I was like, he fucked me out of points in our little game.
So I've got a question. Was that a penalty assessed because he did that on Thursday night at like 8:30 when the horn blew? Because that was his last hole?
Great question. I don't know.
The things I was looking into, it seemed like he had to either finish on that hole or restart on that hole on Friday morning. So I was like, they gave him a 2-shot penalty for conduct unbecoming or whatever, inappropriate conduct, but nobody saw it because obviously nobody was there other than the officials. Kind of weird.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if that was the exact time of it, but I read something maybe I saw his press conference where he was like, it was dark, or I was just trying to get in. Yeah, I need to figure that out.
You guys see Brandel blame Tiger Woods for people cursing and throwing their clubs?
The what?
Say it again.
Did you guys see Brandel Chambly blame Tiger Woods' existence for people throwing their clubs and using curse words?
Really?
I missed that.
Tiger Woods is the greatest player ever. We all love him. Everybody got rich off of him, but he was one of the most profane golfers to ever play the game. Nobody ever criticized him. He skated through, and people...
I don't think that's true, Brandel. People criticized Tiger through the years.
You're right. They did to some extent. Yeah. They did. But it wasn't prolific, and it wasn't pervasive.
Fair enough.
And he wasn't held to account. Not the way Wyndham Clark was last year when he broke that locker. Not the way, people and everybody that's playing now grew up watching him. These are Tiger's progeny, if you will. And it rains F-bombs on the PGA Tour. Clubs get thrown all the time. Tee markers get destroyed.
It's a great clip. I mean, it's an unbelievable clip. It's set in with the darkness of Shinnecock behind him and his hair flowing, just rattling off an all-time take that Arnie never cursed or used profanity on the golf course, which is unbelievable. Jack never was caught saying any curse words on the golf course or throwing his clubs. Everyone, even Phil Mickelson, would never even, think to throw his clubs or use profanities on the golf course. And then Tiger Woods came along and just started throwing all these profanities around and throwing his clubs. And he said no one was on him for it. He had no pushback. And then someone else on the desk was like, Tiger Woods had a ton of pushback. And he's like, okay, I'll give you that. It's an all-time clip. It's an all-time clip. I mean, it was a crazy, I mean, it is going more towards what I said, where it's like different styles are now coming into the game. You're going to have different people that aren't like your cookie cutter country club guys. And Tiger for sure wasn't one of those guys. He was fist bumping all over the place. He was running around, getting the crowd going crazy. But I just thought that was a funny thing from Brandel. Like, I mean, guys have probably been hooting and hollering, throwing curse words for ages out there. They're just not filmed as much, dude. There's freaking microphones in the ground now. There's microphones on every tee box. Like, are you kidding me? If you had a microphone in the King's caddy's bib, you know the things you would have heard him say during the coverage? Oh my God.
I'm actually surprised we don't see more of it and hear more of it. Like the way they're playing for so much money, and to get to the point where these guys get to, no offense, kids, you guys are lunatics. Like, you guys are maniacs. And like, it takes a certain type of person, a certain motivated type of person to get to that point. And the fact that we're not seeing people breaking clubs all over the place, honestly, I don't think we see enough of it.
Kiz, one time, I think you missed the cut at the Masters and you just sent me a picture of your putter broken in half in the back of your truck.
Yeah, just something you got to get rid of, man. You got to get it out of you. Just got to get that devil out of you somehow. Putter just wasn't listening or behaving. I think I just like kind of went to my truck, broke it behind the door, and then just threw it in the bed of the truck and was like, I feel so much better. Currently. Now I've got to go get my putter reshafted because I got to play next week.
Shit.
So you're
a tail between your legs.
Yeah, now you're an idiot.
I didn't see the clip, but as a Brandel stan, I have no choice but to believe that not a club was thrown, Frankie, before Tiger Woods came on the scene. So
it's like,
I
gotta do some. I have to do some research. You got to think. He's such a note taker. He probably has the research done, but someone had to toss the club historically. There has to be one club toss. But
was the John Rahm kicking his driver down the fairway? Was that this week? That I saw the clip
dude, that clip
was this week.
He's walking the dog is what we're calling that. Just that thing.
I'm just so confused by all this. I mean, the Joaquin Niemann thing had to be at dark or there would be a video of it. Everybody out there is videoing something all the time.
70 yards, dude.
And it had to be egregious because Mr. Rahm was kicking his driver down the tee box and they were just not a penalty in sight. So I'll be
honest. Just saw that Rahm clip for the first time, and that's A1. That's A+, dude. Yeah. I love that clip. That's fantastic. He's like kicking a soccer ball.
He's like mockingly playing soccer by the end of it with his driver.
He almost like kicked the head like back and forth to itself, like just dribbling it.
Niemann was really kind of a master class of handling it from a PR standpoint too. A reporter asked him today, are you thinking if that one hole didn't happen, you get those 7 shots back and you'd have a chance to win? And he said, if my grandmother had tires, she'd be a car. So he just kind of was leaning into the whole thing. And really he apologized. And he said, that he, like anybody, kind of pled his case on the ruling, didn't get the ruling that he wanted, and then went out and, in the second round, that Friday round, I think he had like the low round on the course that day. He shot like 65 or something, made 1 million birdies. So a hell of a bounce back by him. Scottie Scheffler, another, just the tough year to be the year that I decided to put a wager on him to win every single week because he's just not winning.
Bro, you might have ended his run. Like, it's getting to the point now where it's on you now. At first it was on Scottie, and again, he's not finishing like outside the top 3, so nothing's on him. You ended this man's career historic run.
I'm in a bad spot now, man. Whereas the 1 week I don't bet on him now, he's gonna fucking win.
Sure
so
is.
It's like I'm really pretty stuck here. But another interesting week for Scottie. He never really felt like he was like contending, yet he was like a couple moments away from being the guy in the golf tournament. He finished tied for 4th. He was very frustrated on the driving range with his coach, which we've seen clips. We've seen several clips of that very similar nature over the last, 6 months or so, year at different times. Last year at Oakmont, there was a very similar clip. of him just getting incredibly frustrated, which I love. Scottie burns hotter than people, probably think or know or see. But it was the putts. He missed a lot of those. Pretty much every one of those short putts that Wyndham Clark made, Scottie missed throughout the entire week. I think Thursday, Friday, maybe, especially Thursday, they were talking about his approach stats were about as bad as they've ever been for Scottie, but he seemed to have cleaned that up going into and over the weekend. He finished, I think, just 4 shots out of a playoff. So it's like 1 shot a day, which is nothing, it feels like. So not the worst week of all time, but doesn't really have the pop that he had last year, of course, and came up a little short, and that cost me some money once again, which is a bummer. But
yeah, I actually was able to place a top 5 bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook on Saturday at around 11:30, and so it obviously was still a ways to go, but I got it at plus 118, which Scottie Scheffler for a top 5. You're never getting that in plus money right now, especially these days. So that was a lot of fun, and it came down to the last putt. So Scottie misses the green on 18. He has that impossible short-sided chip. Just nestles this thing down the hill. It looks like it's going to roll out forever, stops, and then he has a impossible slider up the hill to finish off his U.S. Open to stay right there on that line. What did he finish? T4 with a bunch of guys at that number, so it would have dropped him out. And I was sweating that one. That was a lot of fun. So Scottie always gets the people going. And obviously you heard that with the Long Island crowd. I mean, for me, and that's more to Kiz's point, right? Like I was going nuts for that. I was absolutely going crazy for that putt. So there's a lot more rooting interest these days.
So it's not Frankie that put the hex on him. It's just Riggs. Riggs has got the hex on him. Frankie still got him into the winners.
I got some juice on Scottie.
Yeah.
He gave me a nice little what's up in front of you. That's great. That's huge for the show, by the way. I know Scottie and I have an awkward relationship, more awkward on my side. I think he's just kind of doing his thing. But he went up to Kiz, kind of gave him a whole little thing. Oh, you only talk to me with the cameras on? And I said very quietly, "Hey, Scottie," and you're like, "Hey, Frankie," and just walks away. Just my guy. That's my brother.
And then Frankie told me the whole story again about him not texting him back for 4 years. It's like, you can't live that one down, can you, Frank? You're just going to ride that one to the grave.
And then when we filmed, I don't know if he told you this part. I'm sure he did. He probably told you the whole thing. When we filmed with Scottie at TaylorMade Media Day, Scottie had every opportunity to give Frankie his new number, and it was never exchanged. So.
No.
Dude, I had this whole thing planned. I'm like, man, what? I sat in the cart with him and I go, and my joke was going to be, did you get a new number? And he was going to say no. And I was like, well, I've been texting you for 4 years. But his answer was, yes, I did get a new number. And I was like, oh shit, I've been texting the wrong Texas guy for the last 3 years I was saying, I'm so proud of you. Every time you had a baby born, I'm sending him text messages being like, Papa Scheffler, let's go. Like going crazy. It's going to nobody. And then he easily could have been like, no, I'll just give you my new one. But I said, do you have a new number? He goes, yeah. And then he got out of the car and just walked away. He goes, he gaslit me. He goes, you don't even want my number. My friends say I don't text him back. That's what he said to me. He goes, you don't even want my number. Remember that?
That's genius. And you're like, yeah, you're right, Scottie Scheffler. I don't want your number.
I was like, you're right.
He does have bad phone etiquette. Probably the worst.
I know.
Phone
I
etiquette.
still want that thing though.
Major season is here. 4 days. The best players in the world. Only DraftKings has you covered every step of the way. We still have a major championship left. We're just coming off a major championship. DraftKings. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets, bringing the game straight to your fingertips wherever you are, from Florida to Texas to California. You're in on the excitement at the speed of sports. Follow every tee shot, every leaderboard move, every Sunday back nine that crowns a champion. From Thursday's first group to the Sunday final pairing, sweat all the rounds you love in real time with a seamless experience built for major championship golf. We still got a bunch of great golf events throughout the year, and just World Cups going on. I did wake up this morning and I chose Wyndham Clark over 71.5, I think is what I had. And I believe he shot 3 over par. So I won that, which was nice. I also had Wyndham Clark at the beginning of the week to finish inside the top 10. I did lose my Matty Fitz top 10 bet, however. So long story short, I had some skin in the game. Makes it fun. I know Frankie had a nice win. DraftKings is the spot to do.
Absolutely, yeah. Was all over that Scottie Scheffler final putt on 18 to just get him into a top 5. finally, getting Scottie and plus money for a top 5 is not an easy task these days. You really don't see a little plus next to Scottie Scheffler's name when it's for anything other than a win. So that was a nice win, and yeah, the U.S. Open was a lot of fun just having that on there.
No matter where you're watching, you're always connected and in the game with one app. New DraftKings customers as well. Make sure you pay attention. Sign up with the code FORE, that's FORE, and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. Again, that is code FORE. If you spend $5, you can get $200 in rewards within 21 days. Just use our code FORE in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. The Ultimate 365 Plus Short is the most technical golf short from Adidas, packed with new materials. The Ultimate 365 Plus Short features a new 360 grip waistband with nano technology. Look, this thing's awesome. These shorts are awesome. I know Trent and myself are big Adidas shorts guys. Frankie's on the way of getting there. People are going to hear on this podcast some breaking news in the world of Frankie that is going to be pretty tied to shorts. The Ultimate 365 Plus Short, just a great short. Look, Adidas walked us through it in December. They went through the fact that in like 2016 or 17, they really kind of launched the first like real golf short. A bunch of other companies have kind of caught on, come up with their own, caught up maybe. And Adidas said, you know what? It's been a while. Let's go all in again on working on how are we going to improve and make the best golf shorts that there are. And that is the Ultimate 365 Plus Golf Short. This waistband with the nanotechnology, it keeps your shirt tucked in perfectly. It's like this thin little green strip on there. Just a phenomenal short, Trent.
Yeah, when you go to the store, or if you go in an Adidas store, PGA Tour Superstore, wherever it may be, and you're looking for these Adidas shorts, you see that green lining on the inside. You know those are the brand new Ultimate 365 Plus shorts, and that is where all of the technology is. In that waistband, that nanotechnology, the twist weave, all of that is incredible. It's so flexible. It keeps everything tucked. We learned a ton about it. The players are all loving it. They love it. They wear it during their practice rounds. They wear it at home when they're working out their games. You see Ludwig Oberg rocking the Adidas, looking amazing this week at the US Open, just looking like a freaking, he's always just looks like a model. Like it's exactly why they created the clothes. That's exactly how they created clothes to look, is the way Ludwig wears them on the golf course. And it's a spectacle to watch him walk out on the fairway.
I would also say the number one short we see at Barstool Classics are Adidas shorts.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
They really did set the precedent for a great short. And that's just we see large pools of players, different kinds of players at these Barstool Classics, and the vast majority of them are wearing Adidas shorts.
The Ultimate 365 Plus Short is available now on Adidas.com, the Adidas app, and at select retailers worldwide. You can shop Adidas' latest golf gear at Adidas.com/foreplaypod. Again, that is Adidas.com/foreplaypod. And before we're done here, did you guys get the messy boots, by the way?
I didn't get the messy boots. Damn, look at those.
I did an unboxing video that I'm going to put out tomorrow because Argentina's playing tomorrow. I didn't think it'd be appropriate during the United States Open. These are the greatest things I've ever seen. When I saw him post these bad boys online, I said, I have to get those golf shoes. These things are insane.
That's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's limited edition. That's as good as it gets right there. That's why the partnership with Adidas is as cool as it gets. Like, you have messy golf shoes. That's nuts.
I was wearing them around my condo. I was just wearing them around. I wasn't even playing golf. Anyways, go check out the latest golf gear at Adidas.com/foreplaypod. Golf course setup. Let's talk about the setup real quick. I thought overall phenomenal. I really did. 3 players finished under par. That brings the grand total in the history of United States Open Championships held at Shinnecock Hills to 6 players have ever finished under par at Shinnecock. 4 under par being the winning score is great. It's not, by any means a birdie fest. It was pretty much the exact opposite. It was a grind, even when the wind wasn't up at all times. It was up for a lot of it. The course is still the golf course. It played really hard. They revealed afterwards that all the USGA folks had plaques or whatever, signs everywhere, and every trailer that said, let's let Shinnecock be Shinnecock. The biggest time where they maybe started to get a little bit of some flack was how defensively they played Thursday. But to be honest with you, I think they kind of had to. I think everybody understood that. I understood that. I think the panic was that maybe they were going to be really defensive the entire weekend because they had gotten shit from the players in years past, and they didn't do that. They let it get tougher and tougher throughout the weekend. Thursday was just a little bit unfortunate at times and at the end of the day because with 40-mile-an-hour projected winds and sun, they had to water the greens. They had committed to watering the greens in the middle of the day between the waves of golfers, and then they got fog all morning. They had like a 2-hour fog delay. Fog holds moisture, so the greens really were just softer than everybody thought they were going to be. Graham McDowell, a couple other players came out and said that when they began the day, I think the Harry Higgs clip right out of the gate on 10, hitting shots downwind that were spinning backwards was just not what people expected. Shinnecock, it made the whole kind of judgment call for the players really difficult at first, and it made the viewing a little bizarre. Seeing downwind shots spin backwards and off the green in some instances was really bizarre, but quite frankly, they had to. Those greens are not built to be running at a 13 or 14 on the stimp, so they had them around 10 and a half, I believe, on Thursday. They had it soft because they were worried if the sun comes out and the wind is whipping, those things bake out like you wouldn't believe, and then there's no way to really save them. You got no friction on the greens. You got 156 players you have to get through on both Thursday and Friday, and you're going to have a damn nightmare in your hands. So they played a lot of defense early, and then they kind of just let it go throughout the week, and we saw it, man. You did not have to be that far off to make a disaster out of it. Dustin Johnson was a great example. He was 4 under at one point on Friday, and then, you blinked, you went and grabbed a cup of coffee, you look back, and he was like 6 over for the golf tournament, just making a mess out of things. John Rahm, same deal. I think he was a couple under at one point Thursday. One of those guys everybody's talking about of like, here we go. John Rahm, I think, is second or third in Data Golf's official World Golf rankings. He ejected and didn't make the cut either, so it didn't take much to shoot high scores out there. But I thought overall Shinnecock played phenomenally. I think that the amount of times you watch somebody hit an approach shot, it lands, and then they got to, you guys at NBC got to keep that camera on that golf ball, Kiz, and you're sitting on the edge of your seat. You got no idea. Is this thing going to hold? Is it not going to hold? Is it going to catch a slope? Where's it going to go? Is this going into a bunker? That just makes it so fun from a viewing standpoint. Getting up and down was really, really difficult. The bunkers have pebbles in them, which were driving the players crazy, which I think everybody from a viewing standpoint loves because bunkers are supposed to be hazards, but you were seeing some wild shots. I saw Kyle Morikawa go absolutely nuclear with a greenside bunker shot, hit it like 50 yards over the green, I think, on the 5th hole. So just overall thoughts on the course setup. I think they nailed it about as much as they could nail it at the end of the day. And I had some early tweets basically that were not in any way negative about what they were doing Thursday. I just realized the USGA is clearly in this big feedback era to the point where they refuse to make any decisions because they're taking so much feedback. So I wanted to get out into the world Thursday night that the feedback was like, let's not keep it too soft the entire week. And I thought they did a great job of that. It got harder and harder as the days went on, firmer out there, and got to the point where really good shots were rewarded, and you didn't have to be that far off to have your ball go into a pretty shitty spot. And Shinnecock was awesome. That's kind of my general takeaway.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought they got an A for sure on the setup. Thursday, what if Mother Nature produced what was forecasted and it blew 30 to 40 miles an hour all day? We would have stopped play and balls would have been moving off the greens and guys wouldn't have finished. We've been making a cut on Saturday. The whole 9 yards had to do it that way. But it was a perfect setup and a perfect build to where late Saturday afternoon and late Sunday afternoon was when the golf course was playing the hardest. And today we didn't really have the wind, but it was so firm by the end of it on each day where it just dries out. And it got to the point where guys were having to be so precise on whether landing it before balls rolled off the green. But we didn't ever have to worry about it crossing the line. And if it crossed the line again, there would have been pandemonium with the USGA. So you want Shinnecock to be Shinnecock. I love all their sayings, but they pulled it off. So hats off to them. Thought it was a great week. I thought they let Shinnecock be Shinnecock, and I thought they didn't push anything too far with the whole locations. They didn't push anything too far with setup, and I think they just had a great championship.
Yeah, I think one of the lazy takeaways has been that it was a bad U.S. Open because there was a runaway for so long, and it was a wire-to-wire, all 4 days, same leader. Like, to me, we got exactly what we wanted going in. We wanted it to be close to even par for a majority of the guys coming in for that final stretch, and that's exactly what we got. We only got 3 guys under. It's an amazingly difficult championship, and I thought that none of it was gimmicky at all. I thought that the shots made the best players, the course made some of the best players in the world scratch their heads and really think through their next shots, knowing that this course was going to be playing a little bit unpredictable. And that when you get the best golfers in the world and they have all their process and they know to the actual inch how far they can hit their clubs, when you start to throw unpredictability into their game, that's what makes the viewing fun. And I thought that we got that. We got a lot of it. I mean, how many times did we get to watch 10? I sat on 10 on Thursday with my dad and my buddy Andrew. We were in that top right portion of the grandstand, right at the base of the hill, essentially. And we got to watch all these guys either lay up at the top, like you referenced before, Riggs, where they had 180-yard shot, or they went all the way down. And I shit you not, you can even look this up. On Thursday, we watched 4 groups of professional golfers come through, one of them being Scottie Scheffler's group. So there's 12 golfers that came through 10 and 11. We saw 3 individual greens in regulation out of 12 golfers come through 10 and 11 combined. That is preposterous. Like, that is watching 10 and watching only 2 guys hit that green was nuts. Out of 12 golfers, we're sitting there like going nuts. We're making little dollar bets. Oh, I got the amateur. I got Scottie. Everyone's missing. We watched one guy go right in the fescue, hook it left into the walking path. His ball went into a foot imprint in the sand. Then he knocked it onto the green and it rolled back down into where all the divots were on the bottom of the hill. Now he got it onto the green. It ripped into the bunker. Then he had to get it onto the bunker. I'm like, these are the best golfers in the world. So, and that was on Thursday, which was supposed to be the easiest day. So it really did show out. It's Shinnecock. It's supposed to be hard. The lazy takeaway is that it was boring and that the course setup sucks and that there was no fans. I was surprised about the fans, and the more I thought about it, some people from multiple people from the USGA even made statements, it seemed, about the tickets and the crowd. And I forgot who said it. I don't know who had the quote, but they were on the broadcast and they said that they weren't expecting there to be crazy crowds. They essentially, it was like we could go to any golf course in huge metropolitan areas and know that we could sell crazy revenue, crazy merchandise sales, whatever. We want the hardest and most difficult challenge for the players, and Shinnecock brings that. And I thought that was a pretty good statement from the USGA, being like, yeah, sure, like this is hard to get to. We understand that when we book these out 50 years in advance. They're already promoting 2056. Like, they understand that some of these are going to be logistically hard.
That blew me away.
Yeah, it was not easy, man. It was not easy to get to. The traffic was crazy for most of the practice weeks. That scared a lot of people. And there's nowhere to stay. So, like, I think they do all those logistics and they do all of that forecasting. They understand that the number is going to be a certain number. So that to me was interesting. It definitely didn't look like it's prototypical US Open on TV when you're looking at all these crowds. And, like, you know, the guys are finishing up on Saturday night and there's nobody there. It was bizarre. The last train had left an hour before is what some of the rumors were. That was all bizarre to me. So, like, I get that comes off as like a bad US Open, but the golf course in particular, I thought was perfect. It's exactly what a US Open should be.
Did you guys see the platter that they gave the superintendent? I didn't even know this platter
saw that. John
existed. I looked it up. The E.J. Marshall platter. They give it to the superintendent. I guess if you have a great U.S. Open setup, you get awarded a platter if you're the super. I don't know if years have gone by, and I don't know how long this thing has been in existence, but are there U.S. Opens that go by where the platter is not given out?
I don't ever remember. I did Oakmont last year. I don't remember that, but I don't think we did the full ending of the show because it was rain delay. So I don't think we did the trophy ceremony.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's just like a guy just waiting for his platter, and they're just like,
just not going to give it to you this year, buddy.
We got the U.S. Open trophy. Everybody go home.
Like, you didn't do a good job.
Damn.
But what about the platter? I need the platter. Yeah, that's. I just never heard of that. And I was watching the ceremony. I was like, oh, that's. I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I thought the setup was great, and I thought it played out in the perfect way. So I was like, thank God that guy got the EJ Marshall platter. I had to check my notes there. And he deserves it. But it was just like, man, that platter. If you don't get that platter and you hosted the U.S. Open, that's got to be a tough thing. But shout out to John Jennings.
Yeah, it's an impressive place, man. When you drive down Tuckahoe Road, if you're there during the off season, they've got all those huge tarps on the greens. I mean, it's a huge system that they got over there, and he has a outrageously large team to get that golf course to where it needs to get to. And then you pair that up with the USGA, who comes in and basically takes over. Definitely uses a lot of his insight on how to make the golf course, but the USGA has a final call that week. It's really an impressive feat. I mean, we did that behind the greens out there at National Golf Links of America on how they close up the golf course and prepare for the next year. And they're lighting fescue on fire because it's like a more efficient way to get rid of it and have it regrow. It's an amazing part of the country that has made golf basically have like no budget in terms of getting the golf course where it needs to be. And to be able to see what they're able to do is insane.
Yeah, phenomenal. I agree. I think phenomenal U.S. Open. I think that Shinnecock, watching it at Shinnecock, leaderboard really was pretty damn good. You had some cool names up there that aren't always up there. You had a bunch of major champions up there. At one point, ended up with Scottie and Wyndham Clark in the last group. You had kind of a polarizing guy, so you get all kinds of takes firing off left and right. It was great. I thought it was a great U.S. Open. Kiz, I'm curious your thoughts on grading your guys' performance from NBC on the coverage, on the broadcast.
I thought it went pretty smooth. It was a smooth show. We didn't have any interruptions. Front end all the commercials and playing through so we can go the last hour and a half or so without any commercials. I like that. I could do away with the in-round interviews. I don't have much time for that, especially with sports psychs and swing coach and FaceTimes. And
I thought they were going to bring like his waiter from dinner out last night at some point. And, and like, all right.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on those. But I think I don't get to make a lot of those decisions if you're not aware of that. So I just kind of roll with whatever. I'm not in the production meetings and any of that. I don't really dig the wind deviation thing either. Like, if the wind wasn't blowing, it would have been in the fairway or it would have missed the fairway type of stuff we show a lot. It's not really my jam. It's kind of like the tracer that says it's going to go in the fairway as soon as he hits. Like, I think the great joy of that is having Bones and Smiley and John Wood and Kurt Byram out there telling you what the ball's doing as it's flying through the air instead of a graph saying, like, it could be yellow, it could be red. But yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good. Guys, in and out pretty fast and built the drama up coming down the stretch. And overall, I didn't see we showed everything in a good, timely fashion. Everybody's critical of my criticism of CBS, but I just thought we don't show things that happen that much later. And if we do, it's two different philosophies. We say a moment ago if we miss something going on, and they like to play it live. So. Overall I thought it was good. But I'm curious, y'all can bash us if y'all didn't. We haven't talked about anything, so if y'all didn't like anything, please bash away, and I'll defend anything I can.
Well, no, I mean, I definitely hated the FaceTime thing. Was bizarre to me, and then also I thought that his psychiatrist almost seemed like nervous on the screen, and there.
I would never even. I'm sure she's great, but I would never hire her after that interview just based on how crazy she was acting about. She was more nervous than Wyndham was. I felt like.
And I thought this could be fake on Twitter, but I think I saw like a quote that like even today, it may have been a fake quote on Twitter, but like I saw something where it was like, I heard what the fans are saying to him. I had to go inside. And it's like, if your sports psychiatrist is saying she can't handle what the fans are saying to you, you need to move on to someone else that has a better like mental fortitude to be able to withstand that type of stuff. But it's obviously working. The guy's won 2 US Opens, so with her by his side. So the FaceTime thing was weird, especially since like we've always harped on showing as much golf as you can. To go away from that is like, and talk to a guy via FaceTime was jolting. I mean, it had my house talking. We're like, who, you go to, we catered some Moe's over here, and we're eating some queso. Moe's cater, by the way, no ads, but outrageous. They give you so much food. Well, I'm dipping a bunch of extra chips into queso, throwing some steak in there, and just making a little burrito on a nacho chip. And I'm looking up. I'm like, who is this guy on FaceTime right now with Kieran Dixon? This is bizarre. I hated that. But aside from that, I got to see the behind the scenes, and I thought it was great what you guys do and how much thought you put into, like, you know, trying to come up with new ways. And obviously the win thing, some people are going to like it, some people aren't, but you're always trying to make a broadcast different than the other broadcasts, which I think is interesting. And the other thing I loved is on Thursday and Friday, you guys show every single golfer and you count it out loud. So Tarico, when you guys swapped, he was like, we were at 152. You guys have 4 more to go. So before the cut, the NBC production, they show every single golfer in the United States Open. I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow.
And another tidbit I learned is Kevin Kisner only speaks, and Dan Hicks only speak on the even holes.
Yeah, blew Frankie's mind.
Well, it's just like, I never thought there was like a rhythm or like a dance to it. And it's interesting because a lot of the times, if you now watch the coverage knowing that, there's a shot that ends up on 7, and then they go to a putt on 8, and like the guy that's announcing on 7's got to set up the guy on 8, and then the guy on 8 has to finish that and set up the guy on 1 who's teeing off the leader. And there's just a lot of back and forth, and they do it pretty seamlessly. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, you got to learn when to get out, because like if Bax sends his thought on 7, then Terry usually throws it. If we're going to 8, like we hear in our ear as that guy still talking, we hear going to 8 Green or 8 Scottie Scheffler or whatever. Terry's got to throw it to Dan. Dan's got to set it up. And then I might hear we're going to 9T in my ear while I'm talking. So I've got to get out so Dan can set Terry up. So you got to learn the whole cadence of that. But everybody in the social world's an expert, so I'm sure they could all be great at it.
Well,
yeah, well, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah, I agree on the interview thing. You know, those are just tough. I'm not a big fan of those in the middle of it. I thought, overall, I thought the broadcast was great. I think, you know, the locker thing got brought up so many times, but I also understand that I have to remind myself too that you guys are doing a lot of the broadcast for people that you can't just do it expecting that everyone's been tuning into every hour since Thursday morning.
Amen.
Right?
Yep.
And like, I have to remind myself of that. I'm like, if I hear Dan Hicks and Kiz talk about the fucking locker again, but I'm like, they're doing the broadcast like someone just tuned in. This is their first hour, and they want to know why people are booing Wyndham Clark. Why the fuck are people booing Wyndham Clark? And
that's
so
right.
You have to set that context, which I completely understand. And that goes back to the conversation that we did have about the CBS and about the telling a story. You're not necessarily just, you know, there's like, if you guys truly just went rapid fire as many golf shots as humanly possible, the broadcast would suck. It would just be, you wouldn't be able to watch it. So there's an element that you guys have to do of like telling a story, piecing things together, putting things chronologically, but also in terms of like priority and importance to highlight certain happenings in the event. And that's kind of where a lot of our conversation last time came from. So I have to remind myself of that because I, like everybody that watches the coverage the entire weekend, get a little bit annoyed at some stuff coming back up. But overall, you know, those are very little things, I guess, that we're like, and I was trying to be more critical of you guys this weekend so that I wouldn't do this show just sucking NBC's dick the whole time because you're on our show now. And even then, I just didn't have a ton to be critical. I didn't realize you were texting us. I didn't realize you guys basically front load commercials so that the last 80 minutes of the broadcast can be the broadcast. I think that's like something that maybe people don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best way to do it. I'd be the first one to tell you I'm no TV star. I didn't go to school for this. I never thought I'd be doing it. And it sucks in the first hour and a half of the show. Like, hey, we got everybody fired up. Here they are, Sunday, U.S. Open, you know, Wyndham Clark and Scottie Scheffler teeing off, and then we go to a commercial, and then they hit another shot and we do a playing through, and then they play the second hole and we go to commercial. And it's like, man, we can't get in a rhythm. But then by the back nine on Sunday, we don't have to do that anymore. And we can basically run through the rest of the entire show because of how we front loaded it. I don't know if people can be critical. I don't care. I have a hard time getting in a rhythm too at the very beginning because I don't love the playing throughs because I don't always pay attention when I'm calling. Like I'll look up and be like, oh yeah, we're still showing golf. I just don't hear anything in my headset. So I have to watch it because we're going to pop back out and we're going to talk about, oh my God, did y'all see in the playing through Wyndham Clark hooked it in the shit or made a birdie or whatever. And so that's a part of it that I'm still trying to figure out. But it seems to me that the last hour and a half, when it's Championship Sunday and you got no commercials and you can really showcase what's going on, that's your time to shine.
Yeah, there's definitely people out there that do not like it. I mean, we were very critical of the Masters coverage for missing the shot on 18. We went into it pretty in depth, and there was a lot of things that happened, and people came after us for being critical of it, and people are critical of the NBC. I mean, everyone's critical of golf coverages. It's a coverage war. It's bizarre, but we're in the midst of it. We got our hands dirty. We threw shots, you know. I mean, you want to talk about 1776? We're firing cannons. We're doing the whole deal. Like, we're throwing out shots, so we're going to get shots back. And you knew that. I thought you guys did a great job knowing how much eyes were going to be on you in that aspect of it. Everyone wanted you guys to mess up. Not everyone. The people that wanted you to mess up. And I just thought you didn't have much of a story to tell. It was really, really difficult when Wyndham Clark is running away with it for 48 straight hours, and there's really not a lot of juice there. It's hard to fill out time. Yes, there's a lot of stories about Shinnecock, but I thought you told very, very eloquently, and I thought that you showed Shinnecock so beautifully. I mean, the drone shots were unbelievable. It was an enjoyable experience to be able to watch all the little nuances that you got into in terms of that area of golf. But yeah, Tron from No Laying Up is all over you, and all those guys are all over you. We invited him on the show. He now responded that it's Father's Day and he's winding down, so he's not going to be on the show. But I said, all right. I said fair because, father to father. I said, that's fair. They just did a live show themselves. It's 11 o'clock at night. They're grabbing food. They're on the East Coast also. They don't want to come confront Kevin Kisner. They probably want to go back and do their homework, I would assume. And Kiz is not going to do any preparation, which I learned on NBC. They don't like him doing preparation. Dan Hicks has to confuse him and trick him into preparation. Dan Hicks comes up to Kiz and starts talking to him before they go live. Hey, can you believe this, Kiz, in 1985? And now Kiz is starting to get like a little information. And then Dan Hicks knocks me and he goes, that's the prep he doesn't want to do. You gotta ease him into it. So maybe Tron will come on Wednesday. Listen, maybe we'll be the bridge to all this bullshit. We've got the guy in the booth on our show. And if there's people that are this mad about the broadcasting, have them come on the show and talk about it. This might be like the best thing that's ever happened to broadcasting, is that the guy getting yelled at gets to get yelled at by the people on Twitter. And then we find a solution. That's what Barstool does. We confront and then we move on.
I will say, as like we are in the broadcast wars, we're amongst it. We are in it. Overall, I am always stunned at how critical people are of any golf broadcast, where I'm just like, as a person who just watches it, I'm just like, I mean, they showed most of it and they told what was going on, and we saw the putts go in, except that one on at the Masters. We didn't see that putt go in. But outside of that, most of the time I'm like, I'm just watching the golf tournament. And I know we are a golf podcast. We're in almost like an echo chamber of the thing that we're going to talk about. So it's like, of course we're going to talk about the broadcast and everybody's being critical of it. Bro, if you asked Gary Ryan about the broadcast, he'd be like, I don't even know what that means. Like I turn my TV on 100%. And that's how I watch the golf broadcast. So like, we are very much in the mud and amongst it in terms of like the opinions that we hear about golf broadcasts. The greater population does not give a fuck about how a broadcast is put on and whether it's going well or it's not. They're just like, I watched a golf tournament and I'm going to talk about it at the office the next day.
Yes. And one of the great ironies about the whole fallout after the Masters too was that I think our podcast has largely had the stance of we're critical of people being critical of the coverage. We make fun of people being critical of the coverage. We're almost never on that side. The issue with the Masters was that I would say, as much as the fan narrative about Wyndham Clark is a huge takeaway from this, that like a lot of the discourse that day was like about what happened on the 18th hole. So it was like, that was just an egregious thing that occurred, that we were like, well, we didn't know where the Rory's golf ball was on the 18th hole, and we didn't see it go into the hole. So we were like, I mean, we have to talk about that. So I think that's one of the great ironies, that we've somehow, it's like with that basic of a take that we had from that, somehow we've now fallen down into like, oh, we're down in the mud with all the coverage take people, which is not really where we live. But having said that, I guess my biggest takeaway about the coverage was I kind of view it a lot of the times like a good referee in a game where it's like, if I don't really notice it, then you guys did a great job. And my takeaway was like, the coverage wasn't even really on my mind too much. I was just like, I'm just watching the US Open. It's presented greatly. I wrote down a few notes, which is that when you guys cut to Bones, I think he's fucking great. I really do. And I thought that overall, like the setting up of a lot of the shots and how guys are going to have to play them overall was like pretty damn good and gave me good insight on what to expect. And then I watched it play out that way a bunch, which I thought was good. So yeah, I guess my biggest thing is like, if the coverage isn't making like the top part of my notes list when we do this show, that means the coverage is pretty damn good usually. This is kind of my takeaway.
Did y'all notice we did something different today with Bones and Smiley? We sent them both in the last group. So Bones only reported on Wyndham and Smiley only reported on Scheffler. Where normally Bones is in the last group, Smiley's in the second last group, John Wood's in third to last group. But we changed that up today because in case it was a shootout between them two, and we wanted to have full coverage back there. So started off that way and ended that way.
Interesting. Yeah. And then you end up with, so then who was with Sam Burns then? Because he became like the story there for a half hour.
So we didn't have anybody with him, and John Wood caught up with him when he birdied 8 to go 4 under. And then he went
That's great.
8 to 18. So he moved, I think he was with Xander to start out, John, and then moved over to Sam when he started rolling. And that happens a lot. We move guys around when they're rolling all the time.
Yeah.
The last thing that I will say just on the coverage wars too is, I think the overall sentiment here is right in that, there's this, I think a lot of the feedback and blowback that Kiz got from the whole thing was that there's like this unwritten rule that people in the broadcasting world don't talk about broadcasting in any negative way, anybody else. And I guess my kind of thoughts on all of that is like, dude, competition breeds innovation and improvement. And that's at the end of the day, like NBC and CBS, you guys can all be incredibly cordial and root for each other because high tides and the whole deal, but you also like compete with each other. You guys are competitors. You guys, this is like a fact. And so we saw it with Live versus the PGA Tour. We see it in businesses all over the place that somebody comes up with a phenomenal idea, and then guess what? There comes competition. And when that competition comes, it makes you get off your fucking ass. It makes you see what you're doing poorly that other people are maybe doing better than you. And it motivates you and inspires you to be better and to improve your product. That's a good byproduct of all of the coverage wars takes and discussions, is that like his kind of said at the beginning, it's like, hey, if you got any issues with that, come on and let's discuss it. And I would even, like, if Tron does come on the show and I saw he responded to it with later link, I'm genuinely like curious to hear what he would say about the coverage. Because as a guy that watched it and didn't have any big negative takeaways, I'm like, I wonder what he's seeing that I didn't see and how could they improve that. Maybe it would make the broadcast way better. So I guess I would just say that like I'm a little bit surprised at how abrasive some people are towards just being able to air it out and have an open discussion, because at the end of the day, that's like how things and products in any industry improve and innovate. And that's kind of what we all should want, right?
Definitely. Also, if your crew is the one that's willing to hear people, I mean, he already said he's basically 8-miling himself. Here, Kiz started this whole thing in this segment about the things he didn't like about the broadcast. I don't know what else anyone could ever bring up.
Be Rabbit.
Be Rabbit himself. I'll be honest, I sang karaoke with my dad for a good hour and a half today during the coverage. So we had you on mute from like hole 7 to like 11. And we went through a lot of McCartney, the Wings. We went through a ton of Beach Boys, Elton John, Billy Joel. And then we turned you back on the back 9. That's like how normal people interact, isn't it?
Yes.
With the coverage, I mean, right? It's in and out.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They might not be singing karaoke, but they're in and out.
I like that style of karaoke because when I think about karaoke, I think about being drunk in a bar at 1 a.m.
No,
and like
dude.
those days, I'm out on those days. But just like having a karaoke machine and sitting on a couch, having no pressure and no crowd,
Dude.
and singing songs with your dad, That seems like an A+ to me.
Dude, it's the best. Just freaking pop that chair up, I'm in that recliner and I'm just hooting and hollering with my dad. We're singing songs that we love. You don't even have it that loud. It's like, it's so good. It's the best way to sing karaoke. Everyone should have a karaoke machine somewhere in their house where you just want to turn it on like a Tuesday night. Like, you guys aren't karaokeing during the week. I'm karaokeing downstairs while I'm like playing video games or something. Like Tuesday night, 9 p.m. I'm definitely karaokeing. It's crazy you guys aren't doing. Don't you guys love music and you love to sing? Why not sing with with the actual track? It's great.
It's a fair point.
It's great. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, seems like a great time. Seems like a great time. Made with real iced tea and real vodka, or real lemonade and real vodka. Perfect for the golf course. No bubbles to fill you up or get you bloated. Just 1 gram of sugar and 100 calories. Plus, with 4.5% ABV, you can keep it flowing all day long. We're talking about Sun Cruiser, which is the official ready-to-drink canned cocktail of the U.S. Open and the U.S. Women's Open. So they know their way around a golf course. Saw people enjoying it all over the place. I saw Frankie's dad, Mr. Borelli, was all over them Sun Cruisers at Shinnecock Hills.
We found a truck that was all Sun Cruisered out, and he drove this thing around. Then he had a bag. He found a bag. He was walking a staff bag around. I'm like, what is this guy getting into at the United States Open? But yeah, the Sun Cruisers were flowing. Nothing better than cruising around Shinnecock, watching golf, watching Kiz on the coverage. I was kicking it back today, having a bunch of Sun Cruisers for Father's Day. Nothing better than a Sun Cruise. I know Kiz loves the taste of those 1 grams of sugar, beautiful 100-calorie Sun Cruisers.
It is amazing how many of them you can get down. Like they said, no bloated. Boy, you can really put those guys down. They just really go down the hatch pretty easily. And yeah, walking from the compound or riding from the compound to the booth every day this week at the U.S. Open, just crazy how many people I saw drinking Sun Cruisers. Really impressed with the whole brand and how much they're getting it all out there. And go buy you a 6-pack, and then you'll probably have to go back to the store to get 6 more.
At our hole-in-one event, we met the Sun Cruiser people, and I was like, "You guys have the coolest brand." There's just something about the merchandise,
Great
like the I've seen a bunch of Sun Cruiser flags at bars and stuff. It's just something about that whole Sun Cruise aesthetic I really, really enjoy, and they were very appreciative, but also they knew they had a good one. They're like, "We love it too. It's sick." They were all wearing the hats. It was unreal.
Next time you're at your favorite course or bar, order a Sun Cruiser. Crack one open today. Shout out to Miles Russell. He had a great move out there. His dad carrying his bag up the last hole on Father's Day. Really, really cool. He's 17 years old. He finished 7 over par, tied for 39th. Jackson Coyven, turning professional right after this U.S. Open. He finished 5 over par, tied for 23rd. A couple notable names he beat that made the cut were Rory and Cam Young. Some big names that did miss the cut: Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, Victor Hovland, Brooks Koepka. So on the golf front, that's pretty much all that I had. Outside of that, I would like to give a huge shout out to Paige Sporadic for taking an incredible swing of the Duncan Muchkin out of Trent's mouth, and really just giving it, we put a bunch of the behind the scenes videos out that killed it too. And it just could have been a horrific day, and it was a great day with a great clip. And then we filmed with her a couple days after that, which I think we talked about a little bit as well. But I just wanted to give another acknowledgement to her because I was seeing all those behind the scenes videos come out. And what an incredible feat. I know, Kiz, you were like, I wouldn't even do that either. But just wanted to shout that out again because those videos just make my skin crawl thinking about what could have gone wrong there.
Yeah, I'm not hitting that shot either. I love you, Trent. Not doing it.
I think that's fair. That's the last time I'm doing it, I think.
For sure. She had a funny little tweet when Wyndham Clark was yanking all those roots out and all that grass around before that drop. She's like, I'm not getting involved in this. I thought that was good.
Wait till I'm the rules official this year, Paige.
It's true, man. Kiz.
That's right.
Yep.
Kiz is going to keep everything tight out there. All right, I'm going to go watch House of the Dragon. I think we got a new episode. That's now.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you're ready for that trip.
I've followed that show and I've watched every episode. I couldn't, if you told me to name 5 characters from that show. It's just been so long since the last one aired, and it was up and down in terms of the hype for that season. And I'm always into Thrones stuff, but I think that Damien is one I can name. He was in a castle going crazy for a whole season. I'm sure I'll get into this season, and I hope the hype train starts building for it. Like, there's good episodes that come out. But right now, I got to watch at least 45 minutes of a YouTube recap.
I guess they just got me with the hype going into this, that like apparently this first episode is like one of the more epic battles in the history of the Game of Thrones world. And so I'm going to do a 30-minute recap YouTube video that I downloaded, and then I'm going to watch the episode.
I've also been watching Love Island. Like, that takes over a life too. Like, there's 7 episodes a week of that. So it's like I got a lot of TV coming my way, which again, like what else am I doing? But like
you got a lot of airplane tomorrow. You better start downloading, dude.
100%. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to download a bunch of Love Island and the new House of the Dragon episode, and I'm going to be cooking through those things.
I'll Sunday U.S. Open news dump. I did a leg workout this week. I did 2 leg workouts this week.
No way.
I did.
Yeah, he was bitching about that on Friday at the U.S. Open with me. He's like, I can't get up this hill.
I couldn't get up the hill. I think at some point I realized like enough sitting around and complaining, and let's actually try and do something. And obviously the first week's the hardest, but I got, with the help of some hockey players and with the help of the internet and all these things, I had Matt Martin holding my son's legs at a first birthday party saying it's not that much different from yours. At some point, this kid in the near future is going to have bigger legs than you. And like every time I wear anything, he said, how dare you wear your wife's jeans to my son's party and all these things. And then they have all this access to just like how to like be ripped and muscular. I've been told some guys, quote unquote, just don't have it. And they looked at me when they said that, but I've been putting in the work for 2 sessions so far doing, I'm in the garage. I got the doors open. I got the music playing, and I did goblet squats. I did Bulgarian squats and lunges. Okay. I did step ups. I got all the equipment. I'm doing.
How many of these are you having to YouTube to see what they are before you do them?
Every single thing I have to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm hurting my back. My calves feel like they're gonna pop. But let me tell you, I'm drinking protein. I'm having 150 grams of protein a day. My farts are outrageous right now, dude. Like just it's an absolute disaster.
Peeling paint off the wall.
Absolute disaster in the bed right now. But it's just, and I do it and I go, I don't know what you want from me. I turn to the left. I go, what do you want? You want a god in here? You want a freaking prince? You want a prince? That's going to come with some nastiness, dude. Yeah. It's either, you know what I mean? Like there's a price we all got to pay in this house. All right. I'm putting in the work. I'm going to be tooting like you wouldn't believe. So that's happening to me right now.
Hey man, I think I can speak for the rest of us. We're proud of you, and
proud of you.
And we want to see it continue. And hopefully one day you oil those things up and you throw some shorts on and we'll play some golf.
That's the goal. And I'm really just focusing on above the knee, because I really just want to, the thing is, you got to think, and if I keep doing it, and what I was told was in 8 months, if you keep doing this and increasing, you're going to look way different than you do now. It's just a fact. It's like how it works. Like 8 months, and that'll go by like that. It'll be Christmas, and I'll be like, wow, I made a lot of progress. And that's what's fun about it. And hopefully I can keep it up. We do a lot of traveling. You guys can keep me to it. And then one day I'll have a big reveal.
Great.
Incredible.
All right, and that's it.
I support you.
I appreciate it.
Support you in your
Put it in your calendars, boys. Frankie's reveal, December 23rd.
But that's the problem is like the reveal is going to be underwhelming because I never showed where it came from. So maybe I'll take a before and after.
Take a picture now, a starter.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, boys. I believe that's all she wrote. Great work out there, Kiz, at the US Open. Thank you to everybody who bought merchandise. Big thanks to all of our partners and sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. And of course, Ryan Richin, who's going to be up ungodly late tonight, getting this show out for everybody in the morning. So appreciate you all. We will be back Thursday for the second show of the week. Hit it hard.
Thank you, Kevin Kisner. And I know these guys all think the same thing, but you freaking put a lot of work in. You're also doing this. There's a lot of people that are complaining about the coverage and all this. You're good for golf, man. Like being able to talk in that setting and then also being able to come on this show, 2 different audiences, It's a whole, you're everywhere right now. And like, you're putting in the work, you're grinding, and it's working. People are really enjoying your content. You're great on YouTube. You're great on the podcast. You're great on the coverage. I just think what you're doing right now is awesome. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You have made a ton of money and you've been super successful in the game of golf. You could be home with your kids, and instead you're like grinding in the game to grow it and give us different insight. And I think that's awesome. So less complaining about this guy and more positive feedback would go a long way, because I think you're doing an awesome job. There's a lot of people sitting on their ass that just retired from the game of golf that don't want to put the work in. You're doing it. So I think that's fucking awesome.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. I had a great time on Friday showing you around. We had a big day. Frankie was living it up in Long Island with all his people, showing them. I don't even know. You saw so much stuff on Friday. I can't wait to see how that video turns out.
It was cool.
Yeah, a lot. The best part was how much Jared and Ryan Richardson were just like, what? I mean, they were just going everywhere, filming everything. They were loving it.
They loved it.
Checking out everything. I had a couple people.
Buttons.
Yeah, I had a couple people explaining to them what everything was that I don't know, because I don't know that shit. And Ryan Richardson's like, "What's that mean? What's that do? What do I hit for that button?" No idea. Not your tour guide here. Let's get up to the booth. I can be your tour guide up there.
Yeah, it was awesome. But anyway, hit it hard.
Hit it hard.